what just happened? Did we just see the implosion of the Cleveland Indians today? The complete complosion of the Cleveland Indians. After having a 3-1 lead in the ninth inning. From having a almost winning road trip. Cody Allen, who's usually lights out. Could not get done. I feel bad for you Indian fans. Oh, to see that happen. From having total domination today. A total domination of the game today. And it's just falling out of your hands. I'm sorry. I am sorry. The Indians lose today. They lose the road trip. They won last night in extras. Same couldn't have been said for the Tigers like they were last night. They got blown the doors open over Kansas City. And the Mud Hens are now one of the worst teams in their franchise history. What to say? What to say? I guess it's time for it's time for the show. It's time for All Andy Alfred right here on ClayFan23, a special post-game edition starting now.
I've been listening to you, watching the same games you've been watching, but I have the nerve to say what's on my mind. It's time to listen. It's time to learn. It's time for All Andy Alfred. Starting now.
Presenting His Most Royal Majesty, the King. The King, Your Majesty. Sheriff of Nottingham, in gratitude for your faithful service, I shall knight thee. Your most gracious Majesty. In the name of my most royal Majesty, I knight thee. Arise, sirloin of beef. Arise, Earl of Cloves. Arise, Duke of Brittingham. Arise, Baron of Munchausen. Arise, Essence of Myrrh, Magnesia, Quarter of 10. You are too kind, Your Majesty.
Oh, turn it off! Turn it off! Turn it off! Cut it off! Right there! Right there! We were gonna play that. They were up 3-1 today. Not gonna happen. Not gonna wear this today. Unbelievable. Straight unbelievable. The Indians could not pull out the victory, win the road trip, and win the series. In that place, LA wins the series. And the Indians have a losing road trip. Tigers are trying to get back into it. Not going to do anything. And the Mud Hens are sucking. I love you guys! And welcome into this Wednesday edition of All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me, a production of ClayFan23. I'm your host, Andy Alfred, coming to you from the Man Cave Studios in Toledo, Ohio. As we're taping the show around 6:30 this afternoon, the Indian game has just wrapped up as the Indians lose in the ninth inning to the Angels of Anaheim 3-1. We'll break that game down for you, as well as talk a little bit about last night's, talk a little bit about the Mud Hens from last night and look at the standings for them. Well, first we'll start off with the Detroit Tigers. The Tigers getting in action here just in about 25 minutes. The Tigers getting a loss last night to the Royals, and Duffy was outstanding. He gets the win. He goes to 5-5 with a 4.04 ERA as the Royals beat the Tigers 5-1. Justin Verlander gets the loss. He goes to 1-4 with a 5.05 ERA. He went 7 innings, 10 hits, 5 runs. All 5 were earned. No walks, 5 strikeouts. He gave up 1 home run to Perez, his 16th of the year. For Duffy in the game, he went 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. That run was earned, 4 walks, and 2 strikeouts. No home runs hit for the Tigers in the game. Time of the game, 2 hours and 41 minutes, 35,039 in attendance at Comerica Park. So the Tigers, first game without Dave Dombrowski. So, Al Avila, not working right now. Just joking. Just game 1. But let's get into what happened yesterday, also for the Tribe. Before we get into today, the Indians were a winner last night, 2-1 in extras in Anaheim. It was Ursula, his 4th home run of the year, to propel the Indians to a 2-0 victory. Zach McAllister gets the win. He goes to 3-3 with a 2.84 ERA. Carlos Carrasco started the game. He went 9 innings, 1 hit, no runs, and none of them were earned. 1 walk and 7 strikeouts. McAllister, inning pitch, 1 hit, no runs, no earned, no walks, no strikeouts, no home runs. Alvarez gets the loss for the Angels of Anaheim, and he went 2 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, and that run was earned, 1 walk, and no walks and 1 strikeout. Shoemaker was the starting pitcher. He went 6 innings, 5 hits, no runs, and 2 walks, 10 strikeouts altogether. Cody Allen, his 22nd save of the year. Time of the game, 3 hours and 32 minutes. 38,189 in attendance at Angels Stadium of Anaheim. Looking at some scores from yesterday around the major leagues, the Yankees putting up a thumping on the Boston Red Sox 13-3. Washington beating up on Arizona 5-4. The Cubs blanked the Pirates 5-0. Philadelphia 6-2 win over the LA Dodgers. The Minnesota Twins losing to the Toronto Blue Jays 3-1. The Mets were a winner 5-1 over the Miami Marlins. San Francisco a winner 8-3 over the Atlanta Braves. The Redlegs were a winner 3-2 over the St. Louis Cardinals to get their 2nd win of the series against the Cardinals. It's a pretty shocker right there. Texas was a winner 4-3 over the Houston Astros. The San Diego Padres were a loser to the Milwaukee Brew Crew 4-1. The White Sox on the south side get bumped by the Tampa Bay Rays 11-3. Seattle was a winner 10-4 over Colorado, and Oakland blanks the Baltimore Orioles 5-0. So we had those games from yesterday. We had a few gay games going on right now. Bottom of the 9th, it is 3-3 in Oakland between the Orioles and the A's. Top of the 10th in Colorado, it's Seattle 5 and Colorado 5. The White Sox on the south side getting a much better win as they win 6-5 of the Tampa Bay Rays. And then we get to the Cleveland Indians today. Oh my God. After a total lead throughout the game, domination through most of the game today, fell right out of our hands. Cody Allen, blown save, and gets the loss. Cron, the game-winning, game-tying run, and coming into the third baseman, Allen throwing a curveball, goes into the dirt. Perez could not handle it. Guy from third slides in home. Angels win 4-3. 3 runs in the 9th inning alone to win the game for the Angels of Anaheim and winning the series 2-3. For the Indians in this game, a stellar performance this afternoon by Danny Salazar. 6 innings, 3 hits, 1 run. That run was earned. 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. The 1 home run he gave up to Calhoun, his 15th of the year. Postgame gets the win for the Angels of Anaheim. He goes to 1-0 with a 4.58 ERA. It was Santiago on the hill, though. 6 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. All 3 were earned. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 2 home runs. He gave up to Ramirez his 2nd and Rayburn his 5th. Postman went into the 8th with 1 inning pitch. No runs, no strikeouts, no walks. Time of the game, 2 hours and 59 minutes, 33,099 in attendance at Angels Stadium of Anaheim. Boom! And an Eddie. That's the next one to go. Looking at some games going on tonight, it will be Boston versus New York, and Arizona versus Washington. That's De La Rosa versus Gonzalez. The Cubs will take on the Pirates. It's Heron versus Locke. The Dodgers taking on the Phillies. It's Anderson versus Harang. Duffy versus Hutcherson as Minnesota takes on Toronto. The Mets will take on, it'll be Matt Harvey versus Phelps to go for the series sweep over the Miami Marlins. San Francisco is in Atlanta. It's Bumgarner versus Perez. 7:10 sees Martinez versus Holmberg. 8:05 start time will be Scott Kazmir, 6-5 with a 2.10 ERA versus Martinez, who's 6-6 with a 4.0 ERA. And at 8:10 will be San Diego taking on Milwaukee. Kennedy versus Jungard. For the Tigers tonight, it will be Boyd, the new acquisition from the trade deadline. He is 0-2 this year with a 14.85 ERA. Get to see what he looks like for his first outing as a Detroit Tiger. On the bump for Kansas City will be Johnny Cueto, the former Cincinnati Red. He's 7-6 with a 2.70 ERA. 7:08 start time. You can watch that game on FSN Kansas City or on FSN Detroit. Tomorrow, the Tigers will conclude the series against Kansas City. It will be Ventura versus Sanchez. Ventura versus Sanchez at 1:08. Ventura at 6-7 with a 4.98 ERA. Sanchez 10-9 with a 4.77 ERA. 1:08 start time. FSN Kansas City, FSN Detroit. I believe it's on MLB Network as well too. Don't quote me on that. Other notable day games tomorrow. St. Louis is taking on Cincinnati. The Dodgers are taking on the Padres. San Diego takes on Milwaukee. Washington hosts Arizona at 4:05. And then after this series, the Tigers will continue the homestand. They'll take on the Boston Red Sox. Be Norris on the hill on Friday, 2-1 with a 3.23 ERA. The Indians will take on the Minnesota Twins at Progressive Field. It'll be Pelfrey versus Anderson in that affair. We'll preview those games after tomorrow's Tiger game, and we will be on the air post-game for the Detroit Tiger after the Detroit Tiger game tomorrow, only on ClayFan 23 right here. You get all your in-depth analysis and so much more. Looking at the standings going into tonight's play, with the Cleveland Indians lost today, the Indians are now still in dead last, the AL Central right now, with a record of 49-58, 15 games out of first place, 6.5 out of a wild card spot. Detroit in fourth place with 51-55, 12.5 games out, 4 games out of a wild card spot. The White Sox are 51-55 as well, 12.5 behind. 12.5 out of first place, 4 games out of a wild card spot. Minnesota now a game out of a wild card spot. They're now 54-52, 9.5 games out of first place, as Kansas City is still at 63-42. In the National League Central, St. Louis is 67-39, Pittsburgh 61-44, 5.5 out of first place, 3 games up in the wild card race. The Cubbies are 58-47, 8.5 games out of first place, holding the second wild card position. The Cincinnati Reds are 48-56, 18 games out, 9.5 out of a wild card spot. Milwaukee 45-63, 23 games out of first place, 14.5 out of a wild card position. So again, the Tigers getting ready to take up tonight. It is Boyd versus Cueto. Boyd making his first start as a Detroit Tiger. You're watching All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me, a production of ClayFan 23, as the Mudhens will take on the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs tonight, starting at 7:05. They lost last night 5-1, and now are 20 games under 500. The last team to have under 20 game under 500, the 74 Toledo Mudhens. Aircroft gets the win. He goes to 1-0 with a 1.50 ERA. Mike Belfiore could not struggles early on in the game. He gets the loss. He goes to 5-10 with a 5.25 ERA. McGowan gets his 8th save of the season. Bolsterman his 7th, and Alter his 7th as well for Lehigh Valley. No home runs hit for the Mudhens. For Aircroft, 6 innings, 6 hits. Those 1 run was earned. 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. For Mike Belfiore, 7 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs. 3 of those runs were earned. 4 walks, 1 strikeout. The 1 home run he gave up in the game. Time of the game, 2 hours and 51 minutes, 5,820 in attendance at Fifth Third Field. Looking at the scoreboard from around the International League today and also from last night, here's what it looks like right now. For last night, the Columbus Clippers took on the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Rail Riders and lost to beat the Rail Riders 6-4. Pawtucket was a loser to Syracuse 3-1. Louisville wins over Norfolk 5-2. The Indianapolis Indians a 5-1 win over the Durham Bulls. Buffalo a 7-3 victory over the Charlotte Knights. Rochester loses to Gwinnett 5-2. Looking at some games going on as we speak right now, Rochester in the bottom of the first inning are up 2-0 on the Gwinnett Braves. No other day games going on today as well too. A lot of the games are getting ready to start up here, including the Mud Hen game tonight, and we have the starting lineup tonight for the Mud Hen game against Lehigh Valley. Leading off for Lehigh Valley tonight, it'll be Henson, the DH. DeGraw will be batting second. He's at third base. Bolshevik batting third. He is at right field. Alder at center field. He'll be batting fourth. Dugan batting fifth. He's in left field. Cord Phelps batting sixth. He's in second base. McGinnis is at batting seventh. He's at first. Moore catching behind the plate for O'Sullivan tonight. He'll be batting eighth. And Sierra shortstop. He'll be batting ninth. O'Sullivan 0-1 with a 5.50 ERA. For your Toledo Mud Hens, it will be Katsara. He's going to be making his Mud Hen debut, and here's the defense behind him. Dixon Machado leading off, batting first. He's at shortstop. Alexi Castilla batting second. He's at second base. Matt Krause batting third. He'll be out at, Mark Krause batting third. He's at first base. Mike, the home run king, Hessman, Crash Davis, batting fourth. He'll be DHing. Stephen Moya batting fifth. He's in right field. Daniel Fields batting sixth. He's at center field. Jeff McVahey batting seventh. He's in left field. Manny Pena behind the dish tonight for Castilla. He'll be batting eighth. And Josh Wilson batting ninth. He is at third base. Tomorrow, the Mud Hens will throw out Kyle Ryan, 0-9 with a 5.26 ERA. It'll be Valsquez for the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs, who is 7-3 with a 4.17 ERA before the Mud Hens then host the Rail Riders. It'll be Campiano on the mound Friday for the Rail Riders, 1-1 with a 2.45 ERA. Parrish is not yet named the starter for that one. Saturday, it'll be Dela Cruz, 7-0 with a 3.06 ERA, 7 o'clock start time for that one, concluding game on Sunday. Both teams have not yet named a starter for that. Looking at the standings going forward into tonight's play, this is what the standings look like. The Mud Hens still in last place at 45-65, 20 games under 500, 18.5 games out of first place. The elimination number for them, 16 games. Louisville 56-56 and even 500, 8.5 games out of first place. 25 games from elimination. Columbus 61-45, 2.5 games out, holding the wild card position. And Indianapolis 64-47, 5 in first place overall. And Norfolk still holding the best record in the IL at 64-45. Pawtucket now with the worst record of all of the International League at 44-66. The Mud Hens then it's Syracuse at 45-67. Then the Mud Hens, Lehigh Valley is 50-61 going into tonight's play. The Mud Hens, looking at the wild card standings briefly, really quick, not looking at the same thing for the Mud Hens as well too. The Mud Hens are still hunting for a spot, 16 games out of a wild card position, 19 games from elimination in the wild card race. You're watching All Andy Alfred right here on your exclusive home for me, a production of ClayFan2. Presented by CarryTheFifthLine.tumblr.com. Today it was announced in the NHL news that they were announcing the Stadium Series between the Minnesota Wild and the Chicago Blackhawks as well too. Today is also they're doing the 30 for 30 for the Carolina Hurricanes. One signing to note right now, the free agent signing list. It was Victor Stalberg for Chicago has re-upped with the Chicago Blackhawks. So Stahlberg's staying with it. Hey Stahlberg! We love you! Marry me, Stahlberg! Some of you will get that reference. ECHL news, of course. Sothroff from the Fort Wayne Comets has agreed with the Fort Wayne Comets. He had tallied 32 points, 12 goals, and 20 assists for the Comets last year. It was Derek Gardner and defenseman Ray Malice will sign with the Wichita Thunder. The Mavericks of Missouri has signed rookie John Scavano and Liam Stewart to the team, as well as veteran defenseman Ratchuk will sign with the Cincinnati Cyclones. Elmira's captain Taslav has re-upped with the Jackals as well too, and that's the only East EHL news and notes for today. Of course, you can follow the show on Twitter. It is at All Andy Alfred. You can also post a comment on the show and subscribe to the channel as well too. Tomorrow on the program, another post-game edition as we'll talk about the Tigers, as well as reviewing their series against the Boston Red Sox and previewing the Indian series against the Minnesota Twins. So, on behalf of all of us here at ClayFan23 and of All Andy Alfred today, I hope you have enjoyed the program. However you're watching us, wherever you're watching us, thank you for tuning into the program today. And as always, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. And to the teams behind me, especially, go Tigers! Let's go Hens! And we are the fifth line. And to the teams behind me, to your team that you root for at home as well. Victory is sweetest when you have tasted defeat. Have a great night, everybody. I will see you tomorrow for another edition of All Andy Alfred. Love you, babe. Talk to you guys tomorrow.